Loading up. All right, we good. Um, so yeah, back again talking about pessimism and just negative. Maybe it's rooted in being miserable. I think that's kind of what I wanna also what I also want to tie it into. Um, just a negative mind state, right? It's thinking the worst, thinking about the collective worst, seeing the collective worst in people or society as a whole. Um, a lot of this is based off of my interactions on Reddit and just following different subreddits and just seeing the language and seeing the perspective and seeing the constant projection of issues and what's wrong with society, but never seeing anyone offering solutions or never seeing, um, yeah, rarely and never seeing the people who complain or who are frustrated with society ever offering other options to kind of improve the situation. So I'll start with just kind of defining the narcissism, pessimism, and nihilism. So narcissism is excessive intent in or admiration of oneself and one's physical appearance, selfishness involving a sense of entitlement, a lack of empathy, and a need for admiration as characterizing a personality type. Self centeredness arising from failure to distinguish the self from external objects, either in very young babies or as a feature of mental disorder. And I'm a narcissist. I've explained this before, and I know that I need to be. The experience, the human experience, the black experience especially, is rooted in destroying the individual in you. There's a conditioning that we're all conditioned, right? I've said this before. We're all conditioned to just be cogs in the wheel and just be part of the system and do what's already been established. We're rarely given the insight to see, like I talked about in the last episode, to see our potential or to nourish our potential or cultivate our potential. We and through that you end up just kind of being part of the system, part of society, just another face, another head, another body, far from the potential that you have as an individual, far from defining and owning the purpose you have as an individual in this life experience, in this once in a lifetime life experience. So I think most people, I mean, I don't want to say that. For me, narcissism started unhealthy, right? It was being egotistical, but not understanding that the the excess of self. I talked about, um, giving putting 90% of yourself on someone. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with, man. I talked about trying to meet people 50-50, and narcissism is the highest level, right? It's 100%, right? It's all about me. It's me, me, me. Oh, I hear you. That's a sad story, but me, right? What I want, what I need. How can I how can I intertwine myself and my experience into your story and make the situation about me? That's narcissism. That's unhealthy narcissism. But for me, the healthy part of being a narcissist is just understanding self, valuing self, being proud of myself, um, knowing your worth, knowing who you want to be, knowing your value, knowing your potential. Um, and that's like the a low tier of it, right? It's 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 rooted in self. It's about self. So like I talked about using me for your passions, not for your ego. My narcissism comes from my passions of creating and wanting to be part of the the social systems that promote healing, promote growth, promote challenging yourself, promote wanting to kind of break free and be and fulfill your potential, fulfill your purpose. And it's a journey to kind of weed through that, to escape the the overexertion of your identity and yourself, right? It's not the narcissism that I've established isn't rooted in vanity. It isn't rooted in needing to be better than other people. It's not rooted in needing to insert myself. It's just me establishing myself, me believing in myself, me believing in the work that I'm doing, and honoring that, right? The more you honor who you are and what you want to do, you're going to feel good about yourself. And I think that's part of it. So I've said it before, I think a healthy dose of narcissism is essential. And I think a lot of us start or exist within that negative state of narcissism. And it's needed on one aspect, but you have to kind of trim down the fat. You have to take away the unnecessary layers where you're imposing yourself versus just having your narcissism be for who you are and what you need, right? The projection should be against the negative sides of life, the negative sides, or the negative thoughts, the negative perceptions, like I talked about willpower and that wall, and building up the positive thoughts, the positive actions, the moving forward. That should be the narcissism. That should be the build up, and it should be isolated and focused on the negative thinking, the pessimism, the I guess lack of desire, the conditioning that limits your potential and life experience. So next, is pessimism, and pessimism, tendency to see the world aspect of things. Actually, I'll do pessimism last because I have a lot to talk about pessimism. There's nihilism. Nihilism is the rejection of all religions and moral principles, and the belief that life is meaningless. In philosophy, nihilism is extreme skepticism, maintaining that nothing in the world has a real existence. Nihilism is from Fred Nietzsche, who is a well-known philosopher. So I've had a great week already, talking to people about philosophy, and I've just kind of been on this hinge, or not hinge. My energy has kind of shifted and focused on breaking apart individual ideologies, and a lot of it has kind of been with objectivists and just people parroting philosophy and their views and their values, and just kind of staying stuck. And I mean, and I'll talk about it on the philosophical side, but it's in everything now. We see it in all aspects. We see it in the economical side. We see it in our social groups. We see it in race. We see it in religion. These ideologies that we choose. I mean, most ideologies are just a choice. Whether you're born into it, you choose to honor it. You choose to stick to it. Whether you go through different experiences that bring you to a point, it's still a choice. You're still choosing to say, this is what I plan to uphold. And I think what most of us fail to realize is that our choices don't make us better than other people. Our choices are a result of our conditioning. They're a result of what we have access to, right? And they're a result of where we are in the moment. That's all. That's all the choice is, right? You weigh the options. You see what seems more beneficial, and a good choice, benefits you in the moment and benefits you long term. But I think what a lot of us tend to do, or we're conditioned to do, is make choices that only satisfy us for the moment or for the time being, and without looking ahead, without looking to the future, without planning ahead, and just kind of living for the moment, we don't see our potential, right? I can't, potential is the capability, right? Yeah, potential is capability. Potential is possibilities, right? How can I understand possibilities? How can I have vision of the possibilities? How can I look into the future if I'm just rooted in the present? I'm rooted on this singular plane of existence of just living, trying to get by, and just trying to make it. Um, and that's life for a lot of us. And the conditioning, again, the conditioning wants us to just live for the moment. Conditioning wants us just to think about ourselves and, what's the most I can get out of life right now while I'm alive? What's the most I can experience? What can I do? It's rooted in the ego. It's rooted in the negative aspect of narcissism. And nihilism is removing value from choices, removing potential. It's saying that nothing has meaning because there is no end goal to this. It's just I exist, the universe exists, and one day it won't, and that's just what it is. And I used to think like that for a short time, right? I've spent years being a Christian, spent years being a born again Christian, but I've always felt like there was more. I've always wanted and believed that there was more. Um, and I know that I've learned, rather, that it isn't. I mean, so my belief is knowing that, or rather, I understand that I don't. What I believe in is it's faith in a sense. I have faith that there is. I have faith on one aspect. I've developed the faith that there is some end goal to this. That with the right conditions and with continual vision that humans have shown, that we will explore this universe, right? We'll explore this galaxy. We'll keep expanding. I believe in that. I support that vision, and I think it's important. I think it's essential that humans, or the human species rather, evolves. You see the vision and you chase the vision. I've said this could be a one and done, right? This could be a one and done. So when I look at I look at it, I guess, in two aspects, and I think I said this in the last episode. There's me, there's my purpose, there's my individual purpose and my individual potential that I kind of need to honor and build and collab on other people, collaborate with other people on in order to continue the work of pushing the experience forward, right? That's art. It's art, and art is meant to inspire. Art is meant to connect generations of the past, generations of the future. It's meant to be symbolism for the potential of our own individual abilities and capabilities. And on a grand scale, I look at it as being part of this collective species. There's a responsibility that we have as this species. If we don't have concrete proof that there's other intelligent life out there, all we know is that it's us. That's the fact that we know. There's speculation, there are videos, there's ideas, there's there's imagination, right? We can believe whatever we want. But for the majority of us, the fact is that it's just us out here. So since it's just us, since we're the only conscious beings, we have responsibility to push the experience forward, to push human life forward, to see where it all can go. And nihilism takes away from that because it says that since there is no meaning, there's no reason to push it forward. But how can you equate a lack of meaning to the end result of something? How can you say life, not your life as a whole? The universe has no meaning when you barely been around for 50 years. How the fuck do you know? How can you say that, right? It's arrogance. That's the ego, right? Thinking you know best. Nah, this shit don't matter. How do you know? How would you know? If you're rooted, if your thoughts are rooted in self and just, nah, I need to get by, me, you don't have the vision to understand the possibilities, right? You don't understand the possibilities of what tomorrow might bring, what 100 years might bring, right? You think 300 years ago they were really thinking about flying to Mars? Nah, it wasn't. It didn't seem feasible relative to their experience. I'm just trying to get across the water, man. I'm just trying to get across the water. But we get these human individuals who have vision, right? Columbus was a visionary within itself, and granted, the end result of what he did, um, led to a lot of death, murder, rape, pillaging, and all a lot of the negative things. But it created more potential, right? I'm in the United States as a result of Columbus. That's just the reality. I can't think about, what if someone else found it 20 years later? What if the natives that were here evolved? Like, nah, like, okay, all that happened. It happened the way it did. I'm here now. What's my responsibility? What's my purpose to uphold, right? What am I what am I creating, or what am I inspiring that'll provide for someone 20 years from now, 50 years from now? That's the symbolism, right? That's the symbolism. That's honoring um, the journey and the human experience. But learning about the flaws and the faults that and the atrocities also that people commit when they kind of follow their vision, you have a responsibility to kind of turn it around and make it better. So, I think about the people who are nihilists, and I think about this, it has no purpose, it has no meaning, but it does, because it brought you here. The the series of events have brought you here. Every step, every action that someone has taken in the past, that's directly impacted who you are and where you are today. It's brought you up to this point. And the consciousness allows you to make meaning of it, right? Within itself, within yourself, you have the ability to make meaning of it. So why not? Why not make meaning of the experience for yourself? Why not why not make meaning for the experience? Why not make meaning in the experience, excuse me, for people you care about, the people you love, the people you want to connect with, the people, the ideas, I talk about content a lot, the content, the experience. Why not? Why not? So next is misanthropy, which is just a dislike of humankind. And again, that's, how can you hate humankind as a collective, right? I get it. Like, I understand stats. I understand majority rule. But what's your relative experience with humans? Like, when you think about the actual, I don't have stats. I don't have facts, right? But think about the people who actually choose to do harm on a regular basis, right? Think about 7.8 billion people on the planet. You watch the news, right? You don't hear that, but 3.75 billion people have been murdered today, right? Like, it isn't a 50-50 balance where there's the same amount as evil as good. I think a lot of the wrongdoing and the evil that's being done in the world are done by a very small percentage, but the actions and their choices have monumental effects. I haven't figured out why, but for some reason, humans as a species, we just love the negative, right? You see it on. Oh yeah, well, I guess I do, right? You've seen studies, or you've seen, I'm sure you've seen the reports and studies about how people are, the post on like Facebook and social media with negativity, with tension and anger, they get more traction. People are more geared. People are more likely to engage with that type of content. And the thought or the realization, and I mean, I've thought about this before, is that it's just rooted in understanding that hate and love are kind of the same thing. They're both rooted in passion. They're both rooted in this feeling, right? Your heart starts beating, blood starts flowing, your face might get flush. It's the same it's the same type of physical energy. It's a similar vibration, I want to say. But what hate offers is a release, right? For most of us, it offers a release. Going back to the conditioning, a lot of us are in the slumps, right? Life is hard. Like I say all the time, life is hard. I get it. I get it. Life is hard. Um, so releasing that hate, releasing that negativity feels good. Feels good. It feels good to talk shit. It feels good to curse. It feels good to yell at people, because so much of our lives are repressed, where we can't really just be vocal and say the shit we want to say. You can't really say how you want to feel. You can, but you don't, right? Because it's taboo, or you don't want to be perceived as a certain person. And with that, we don't balance the other side of it, which is love. Like you don't really see love promoted. You see movies, you see the TV shows, but within our own lives, you don't really. I don't. In my experience, I talk about my experience. I don't see love promoted that much. I don't see healing. I don't see community. I don't see collaboration. I don't see selflessness promoted. I see selfishness. I see ego. I see ego. I see ego. And it isn't the healthy kind, right? It's the unbalanced form of ego, where it's just rooted in self and what I want and what I need, without knowing what you want or knowing what you need. Just doing what feels good, right? Living in the moment, doing what you've been conditioned to do, and never stopping to kind of process. Where do I want this to go? Or what are the end results of these choices? How can I find like peace within myself, and how can I find peace in relationships with everyone and anyone that comes across my life? It's easy to hate, right? Like a lot of it is just the choice to do what's easy. It's easy to hate. It's easy to be negative. Takes nothing, because that anger it's an initial reaction and feeling to someone's action, right? It's just an initial response. And like I don't think I've never really, I don't really argue with people on the internet. Cause I try to, cause number one, you don't know me. Most people, right? You don't know me. So any perception you have about me, I know it's invalid, because you don't know me. You've never had a conversation with me. Like I had someone assume that they knew my morals and values, because I had GALT's conditioning in the name. That, oh, you like Ayn Rand, so like I know everything I need to know about you. And my initial response is like, you dumb motherfucker, what the fuck are you talking about? But that's not the energy I'm on, right? You're corny. You've already shown your inability to be open and fair. So I'm not just gonna, I'm not gonna impose my ego and my need to downplay you. You need help. You need support. You need guidance, and you need healing, right? I feel more sorry for people who are like that, right? People who judge without dialogue. People who judge without breaking through their own negative conditioning, right? The ego thinking that because I see this name and I know what that name means, although I don't really know what it means, I've just heard what it means. I'm gonna ascribe this character trait to you, and that's who you are, and that's who you'll be. It's corny to me. That's corny. I don't respect it, so I'm not gonna engage it. You're not gonna get real energy from me. I'm just gonna ask you questions and kind of go through the flow. Um, I remember maybe like early 2000s. Went to one of my boy was dating this girl that from high school, and we went to her crib just to hang out, chill, catch up. We hadn't seen each other in that long, and this Puerto Rican dude that we know, and we were cool with. Thought we were cool. And me and him was like we're real tight, like especially during senior year. He came through. Yo, love, love, talking, catching up. Thought it was all good. Like the next day, um, my boy hit me up and he was like, "Yo, dude name is Chris, Puerto Rican kid named Chris." He was like, "Yo, Chris asked her, like why she had why you let those niggers in your house?" And I was like, "What?" I was shocked. Like I was shocked that 'cause I understand, right? I ain't understand the energy. I ain't understand how you went from high school to seeing each other after a few years to that. And I was like, wait, he said niggas or niggers? He was like, niggers. Niggers. I said, holy shit. I said, damn. I said, damn. I said, okay, all right. I got tight. I don't, I don't like being disrespected. That's just something that's always been in me. That's Brooklyn in me, right? You don't violate me. Don't disrespect me. Or if you do, honor your word, right? Do it in my face. Don't show me love on Monday and then talk shit about me on Tuesday. Like, nah. I remember I got online. I think I was on Facebook and I was like, yo, just typing a message. My other boy's like, yo, what you doing? I'm like, nah, yo, like he tried to play us. I don't like that shit. And he's like, yo, Cliff, like, don't be a keyboard gangster, right? Don't do all that. Oh, you're right. You're right. If he didn't have and I mean you see that in the majority of most conflict online, right? Most of the talk that people offer, most of the energy and language people offer, they wouldn't do it to your face. Um, so in the past and thinking about it now, it's me realizing, right? Like if he couldn't offer that same energy when he saw us, if that's how he felt when he saw us, but he couldn't offer it, it's corny. It's corny. And in my mind, I said, all right, if we ever see each other, then it's a different conversation. Then it's, yo, like what's up? We niggas, like, all right, let's talk about it. Let's see what it really is. And that's how you know who people really are, right? That's how you know who people really are. Because people can talk all they want. It's easy to talk. It's easy to talk. It's easy to type. It's easy to, like my boy said, be a keyboard gangster. But when you're face to face with the opposition, do you fold and buckle under pressure? Or do you honor yourself and honor your truth? And that's what a lot of I think, the misanthropy, the nihilism, and the pessimism is. It's the inability to not honor yourself, right? You can sit here, humans are this, and this person this, and this group does that, and all the negative shit you want to do. But when someone comes to you, like, you hate this specific group of people, but when you meet someone and they come to you, it's like, so what's up? Like, what's going on? Why you feel that way? Let's have a dialogue. What's your next level? Like Patrice O'Neill, one of my favorite comedian, also a philosopher, life coach, just, all the dope things. A person who honors their passions is right. I think people who live their truth and honor their passions, they show you how life is supposed to be met. Excuse me. They show you how life is supposed to be lived. They show you the importance of just understanding the different layers of this life experience. And he talked about like being in a relationship, and I think that's like all having an argument with his girl, and then asking her like, like what's your next level? And I have a post podcast episode about like what's your next level, or like what's your next layer, right? Like you came at me with this energy, you came at me with anger, you came at me with all these preconceived thoughts, right? Because I'm part of humankind, or because I'm part of this group, because I'm black, because I'm a male, because whatever. Like I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know anymore. Because there's always something to hate. But like, what's your next level? What's your next layer? right? When the threat or whatever you hate, what opposition is in front of you, what's your next step? What's your next level? You have that same energy, right? Because if you like going back to like the percentage, right? Like if I said I'm always going to try to come at people at 50, and from there, we take it where we take it. I have infinite layers. Excuse me. I have infinite layers. I have infinite levels. I'll take it wherever you want to take it, right? I'll meet you at 50. I'll start at that. And if you want to violate or get disrespectful, I'll supersede. I'll supersede your level. That's just my energy. That's who I am. I tried. You can't respect that. Like I say, your perspective is whack, and then I'll, you would I adjust or I take it to the level that I know I need to. And most people don't have that, right? Because they come at you with they come at you at 100, right? And you come at them with 50, and they're already at 100. So like they're already giving their all, right? They already processed because they think they know it all, right? That's the arrogance, that's the ego thinking you know it all, right? That's why I come at you at 100. I know everything I need to know about you, so I'm gonna come at you at 100%. I'm gonna give you my all. I'm gonna give you all my energy, and I'm gonna spew whatever I need to. For me, I gradually work up, right? I'm gonna gradually work up, and I'm gonna let you get hot and bothered. I'm gonna let you throw, throw your whatever you need to do just to feel good about yourself in a moment. Then when I get to 100, what do you do? What do you do when I get to 100? Right? Because if you were already at 100, you didn't do anything. Why would you do it now? You showed your true colors. You showed who you truly are, right? You showed you're not about it. You're not about it. You're just a talker, right? And that's, for me, that's the connection of, that's the downward thinking, right? The nihilism, the misanthropy, like I said, the pessimism, which is a tendency to see the world aspects or think, or tendency the worst aspects of things or believe that the worst will happen, a lack of hope or confidence in the future, right? Pessimism, not understanding the future, not seeing the potential, right? If if your beliefs are rooted in your ego and your ability to know it all, to think you know it all, to believe and for a fact feel that I am right about this 100%, but never had to deal with the opposition, then yeah, you don't have the vision or to see that you could be potentially wrong, to see and understand that people have the potential to not adhere to the stereotypes we place on them, but also within self not see your own potential and see your capabilities to be more than what you are. The ideologies we get stuck on, I'm a Christian, that's all that matters. This is what I believe in. This is what makes sense. And that's cool. But everyone else in the world isn't a Christian. And most Christians aren't Christians, right? Being a Christian means embodying being Christ-like, right? And I think with most philosophies, I mean, maybe all philosophies, you can never truly embody an ideology because you didn't create it. You didn't create the ideology. It's not yours to parrot, right? It's your individual life experiences, your individual conditioning. I believe that we're meant to pull content, pull ideologies, pull philosophies from different ideas, different people, different perspectives. You work on that conditioning. You see what works for you, see what doesn't work for you. What works sticks, and what doesn't, you get rid of. But it needs to evolve. Like your life evolves, your philosophies evolve, your experience evolve. What works for you, Christianity stopped working for me at a certain point. I couldn't wrap my head around the questions. Like I said, heavens felt like enslavement, and heaven felt like I wouldn't be an individual. I would just be a figure that's worshiping God. It seemed whack to me. It seemed corny. If I'm not myself, what's the point of it? And now I'm on this spiritual chase, and I view the universe as just love and energy, and I have vision, and I see the potential of where it could go. And it's the same, but God essentially, right? I just don't personify the universe because I know that limits the universe's potential. If I think, or if I envision the the metaphysical and the possibilities, let me rephrase that. If I limit my understanding, or if I don't want to phrase this. I can't think of the word, but if I take my understandings, my experiences, and I just kind of box them into this singular perspective. I mean, I guess it relates to echo chambers, right? Like, this is the cube that I live in. This is the room that I live in. I'm just gonna see the same stuff every day. Nothing else matters. I'm cool. I'm content. I'm good, right? But you gotta realize that the room has a door. People are gonna walk in and out of the room. Different people who don't have the same values, the same ideas, and same ideologies as you. And knowing that my experience in this room is gonna evolve and change based off of other people that come into it, I have to be willing to evolve how I interact with the room. I have to be willing to evolve and change my perspective on people who come into the room, right? Because I don't choose who comes in the room, right? I can at some point down the line, right? I mean, within my own existence in space, right? I get to choose who I interact with. I get to choose who I speak to. I get to choose who I follow on Twitter, right? Social media, right? You get to choose who to follow. People talk about internet is bad, internet is this. The internet is what you make of it, just like life, right? If you hang around miserable people, you're most likely going to be miserable, right? You follow negative, um, uh, yeah, I guess it's negative subreddits. It's gonna wire your brain to just see things negatively. So I left a bunch of Reddits, just like was tired of listening to people complain. I'm in this Coinbase subreddit, which is a crypto. Coinbase is a cryptocurrency exchange, and when someone posts, I mean, Coinbase customer service is terrible, and going through the subreddit, all you see is just complaints about the app sucks. I've lost money. They're holding my money. It's the same thing and over and over and over again. And every now and then, I'll see a post that isn't a complaint, and I'll go through it and I'll read it. But today someone posted like, is this subreddit just all about complaining? Like what the fuck? And the replies are just people complaining about the person that's making the obvious, just making an obvious statement that the subreddit could be so much more, right? It should be a place to kind of just commune and communicate and find solutions instead of just being this place where everyone just complains. And I rarely make the effort. There's a phrase called gatekeeping, which is just trying to keep the, the ideology intact, right? It's like, this is what the group is for. This is what we do. It's been accepted by everyone in the group. So don't try to change the narrative. Don't try to evolve, right? Don't try to evolve the possibilities. Um, And usually I don't reply. I don't engage. Like I don't engage with like the negative comments. But these past few weeks I've been enjoying it a bit more and just being a bit more active, but still coming at it in a way of just 50-50, meeting people at 50, asking questions. So I don't remember what someone wrote, but my reply was like, yeah, like I've had Coinbase for like 2 years, never had an issue with them. Like I understand everyone's frustration, but coming on here every day to complain, it's like everyone else isn't going to change anything. If if people, maybe the mods should create a sticky for complaints, or it should be a collective effort to reach out to Coinbase about their customer service instead of just complaining. But also, like, doesn't matter, right? Like, people are gonna do what they want to do. I'm not a gatekeeper. I just ignore, or I scroll past whatever doesn't, like, I use the word add value to what I use Coinbase for. That's the choice, right? That's the choice. You choose what to consume. You choose what you want to impact, and what you think, at least for me, positively impacts my life. I want to consume content. I mean, I don't know. Do you watch something with the intent of wanting to hate? Right? Do you watch a video? Do you watch clips? Do you read articles with the intent, like, I can't wait to read this so I can hate a nigga? Like, for what? Maybe you don't do it subconsciously, right? But if that's always the end result, at some point it's the choice to actively want to be upset and consume the negative, which leads to the disdain for humanity, disdain for groups, disdain for whatever, whatever makes you feel good about your ego without actually having to do the work required to, I use the word heal, but also see the potential in yourself and see the potential in other people. Um, Everyone has potential, man. Everyone. I think about Joe Rogan and I've talked about this a few times. Joe Rogan podcast episode where he spoke to this musician, and I believe his name is Daryl Johnson, and I say that a lot. Um, but yeah, just started having dialogue with KKK members, and through the dialogue and through them, just realizing that their racism, their bigotry, and their ignorance had no validity. They left the Klan. They hung their robes. Some of them even offered him their robes. That's potential, right? If I spent my whole life hating people, hating a group of people, I mean, you think about that, right? Like, you think about it's just communication, man. It's communication. Being willing to communicate, seeing the potential for communication, and making a choice, right? Like, knowing that what I believe and what I feel just isn't right and doesn't sit well with me. You make the choice. That's what it was for me with Christianity. Just, I said, it doesn't feel right. Like, I'm not gonna fake it. Like, what's the point? What's the point of spending the rest of my life faking Christianity? There's no honor in that for myself. I'm limiting my potential. I'm limiting my life experience, right? But I evolved um, I guess the ideology of how I want to interact with people and how I want to interact with metaphysical and this life experience. That's what religion is, really. Just rules and parameters on how to engage with each other, how to engage with whatever the hierarchy you want to define as, and just how to live your life to well, I don't know. I feel like religion can limit potential, but I guess how to live your life in the present for long-term benefits and goals. Um, and again, I talk about Christianity just because it's easier to wrap my head around because I've gone through the experiences. Um, but I think about reincarnation. I think about Buddhism Buddhism, Taoism. I went to a it's a Buddhist shrine ceremony meeting. I don't know how to phrase it exactly. When I lived in Miami, again, just trying to find something, right? Just doing a little bit of research and said, I kind of align with this. I like where this is going. I like what they're saying. Um, yeah, that's I took a bus from South Beach to like North Beach, Miami, and it was just like someone's apartment, and they had this open space, um, and they had like, I don't remember, or do I have the exact terms, but um, yeah, it was a unique experience. It's a unique experience. I was still childish in my own right. Just doing like chanting and breathing, and expulsion of energy through chanting. I remember there was a moment where everyone was kind of allowed to just kind of make whatever noise they wanted. Allowed to chant or hum or hymn or whatever they wanted. And it was funny to me. I don't know what was funny to me, but it was funny to me. And I remember just sitting there with my eyes closed, just like biting my lip, trying not to burst out from laughter. Because I want to respect the experience. But also, I remember just like leaving abruptly. It's like, yeah, I got work, I gotta go. I know I could have stayed. I know I could have engaged. Just, just didn't want to. I don't know. Just didn't want to. That's always kind of been my thing, right? So I'm social. I'm not socially. I think that the usual phrase is like being socially awkward. I'm not socially awkward. I'm just socially disinterested. I'm just not interested. Like I'm okay. That's part of my ego. That's part of my ego problem. Um, like I don't impose it, but I also know that like my aura, my energy can shift um, how other people kind of see and perceive themselves, or shift, or send out the wrong information. But that's not something I can control, right? Um, it's like I understand that my presence has being present in the space means that I have a responsibility. Like I'm aware of that. Um, but I also know that I'm not responsible for how you respond to my presence. I can't control that. You're gonna project values and ideologies onto me regardless. There's nothing I can do about that. But if you feel away, meet the opposition, right? Like I said earlier, there's always opposition. If you feel away, someone or something makes you feel away, you confront it to find out your truth, or find out the truth in the experience, find out what it really is. And I'm always open to that. And I think, although my innate energy may not always be welcoming, once you get me in a conversation, it's all good. It's all good, and it's always gonna be love, right? Like I say, 50. I'm always gonna come at 50, right? I'm always gonna try to. I'm gonna work on how to elevate or degrade the conversation, right? So the 50 is not imposing too much of myself, but being willing to allow you to impose some of yourself, right? I I come at 50 hoping that you'll come at 52. We shift, and like I said, the energy shifts. Sometimes it might be 60-40, sometimes it's 70-30, but you keep I say 70 kind of just needs to be that limit. I don't need 80% of you. I don't need 90% of you. I don't need 100% of you. And you don't need that much of me. it's a ebb and flow, right? That's the balance. But we don't communicate. We don't make the effort to communicate, or we don't. We're conditioned again to misrepresent ourselves in communication. So even if you're coming at me with 50, it ain't even real. It's not even who you are. I know. I understand. Um, I said in the previous episode, like I read energy. I see your truth. I see your truth. I believe in spiritual energy. I believe in spiritual gifts. I think we all, not we all. I think a lot of people have the capability to just understand things on a different level. And for me, it's just understanding people and their energy and seeing their potential. So I know who you are. If we meet and we have a conversation for like uh, maybe 10 minutes, I know who you are. And nothing wrong with that, right? And I'll either extend the conversation based on knowing who you are, or I'm out. I'm good. Right? I give you 10%. I give you 10% because I'm not interested. I'm not, but I meet halfway. I want to meet halfway, and I want us both to give each other the opportunity to kind of see what the potential for our energy exchange can be, right? I don't want to put you under an umbrella. I don't want you to put me under an umbrella. You don't represent all of humanity. You don't represent all men. You don't represent all women. You don't represent all white people. You don't represent all bosses. You don't represent all corporations. It's. I want to honor the individual, right? I want to honor you as an individual because I want you to honor me as an individual. It's just projection, right? But it's positive projection. It's projection rooted in wanting to um, discover the potential energy, I guess. And, discover our potential energy exchange. See what I can learn from you. See what you can learn from me. See how I can support you. See how you can support me, and see how we can support the collective groups we love and represent, and support the overall human experience. That's what it is. But fighting through the ego and getting rid of those chips and layers that fuel narcissism and fuel also self-deprecation, fuel the ego, the negative aspects of the ego, fuel disdain for other people, disdain for groups, disdain for humanity as a whole. All that shit is corny. All of that is the easy way out, right? And like I said, I get it. It makes sense to do what's easy. Why not, right? Like you only got one life to live, and you don't know if there's even a point, right, to all of this, any of this. So why not just do what's easy, right, on an everyday basis? Just do it easy, ride out the experience, and when you check out, you check out. And it isn't for everyone. Some people want to be part of the experience, but like I say, if you don't want to truly be part of the experience, right, you should stay out the way. Let the workers work, and you do what you need to do. Don't ruin it for the whole collective because of your laziness or your desire to do what's easy versus the like the right thing versus the smart thing, right? Right thing versus the smart thing. I'm trying to think about like what's the smart thing in the situation, right? For me, the smart thing. I feel like they coincide, right? The smart thing is to be part of the experience, to tap into the potential, to embrace the uniqueness, the rarity of this experience. Being live is dope, right? Like for a lot of us, it's a dope experience, man. the choices that we make, choices that we continue to make, we don't own how those choices affect the experience and how they ruin the experience for us. So, you project it. It's everyone else's fault. It's this, it's that. It's you. Sometimes it's just you. Most of the time, it's just you, right? Most of the time, it's just you. Like I think about I guess the old saying, like, when you point a finger at someone, there's three pointing back at you, right? And the easy thing is to point that one finger, right? One finger is easy. It's easy as nothing. But the three fingers pointing back at you is because it's three times as hard, right? To fix what's wrong with you. I've been talking about the significance of just three. There's self, there's social, there's just the systemic aspect, and whatever layer and capacity or wherever, depending on where you live, you got to work through all three of those, right? So you're pointing less at other people, or if you are pointing at people, you, there's a validity to it, right? Like the blame has to be valid. If I'm saying you did something, I have to know that you did it. I need to prove that you did it. I can't just say, yeah, you did it because you ride with them. I can't say you did it because it's just easy. How do I know you did it? How do I know your responsibility if I don't have any facts or validity on my end? Just easy. I'm just gonna point. I'm gonna blame someone. Someone has to be at fault, right? Someone who isn't me has to be at fault, and they might be, but within their fault, what do I need to do to remedy the situation? Or what do I need to do to bring change and redefine the experience to work through whatever limits or whatever, I guess limits, yeah, I guess limits that these other people have placed on me, on my group, and on the human experience. Gotta get out of yourself, right? It ain't all about you. It's about you, but it ain't all about you. A lot of it is. A lot of it is about you. But all of it isn't. And it shouldn't be. Because when you make it all about you, you as an individual, right? As individuals, we're powerless to the larger scheme of a life experience, right? As an individual, if I want to, if I need wood for a tree, I get an axe, I get a chainsaw, and another individual created those ideas, right? They put their passion and their creativity into something that will benefit me, right? Again, like I talked about, everything has value. Everything has value. Everything was created through someone's passion and creativity, and it's meant to be used and utilized. Right? It's meant to be utilized for individuals who want to make their life easier on one aspect, want to lessen the burdens on certain aspects, but also who understand that the value that you take from other people's work and other people's project brings value to your own life. But if you're stuck in this mindset where everyone's out to get you, everyone isn't doing right by you, then no one has anything to offer you, and therefore you have no one to offer. You have nothing to offer anyone else. You break through. You gotta break free. And for me, that's through. I mean, I rarely recommend anyone do it the way I do. I did it through alcoholism. Honestly, man, I did it through drinking and just drinking and facing myself, man. Drinking and sitting with my thoughts and like just really going through the layers and the doubts, the fears, the concerns, the trauma, all of that. And then once I stopped drinking, And I still have a beer like once a month. um, Once I stopped doing that, I was able to still face myself, but in a purer way. It wasn't drug induced. It wasn't through intoxication, right? Because all of that allows you to, sometimes it allows you to hide, right? It allows you to hide your true emotions. Sometimes it also kind of brings out real and raw emotions. But I think I transitioned it into still doing, or still questioning, still asking the same questions, but just being present, right? The liquor don't allow you to be present. The liquor takes you somewhere else, and that's what allows you to feel. That's what gives you the courage, right? I'm the liquor. I'm drunk. My mind isn't here, so I could, I do whatever. No one's gonna blame me. They know I'm drunk. I use it as a crutch. I use it as an excuse to do foolery. But without it, what's the excuse? What are any of our excuses? What's the excuse for not doing what you want to do? Who who's who you pointing at, right? And how many people can you point at, right? You point at a lot of people, right? It's easy. It's easy to just point this person, that person. But what are you doing for self? What are you doing to change the experience? That's all that matters. Change the experience. If you don't like the experience, work on changing it, or don't contribute. I'll say don't contribute nothing. Um, Understand that your negativity contributes nothing. Your negativity contributes nothing. Hate contributes nothing because hate is limiting. It doesn't. Hate is it's a dead end. It's a dead end of energy. If I hate you, I don't fuck with you, right? We don't share energy. There's nothing. There's nothing to transfer between each other. Keep it to yourself. I say, yo, go be miserable by yourself. The world doesn't need that. No one needs that, right? Go be miserable with other miserable people. Don't bring the rest of us down. But we're just not there, right? Because everyone's important. everyone, everyone, everyone thinks they have. Everyone has potential for value, right? Everyone has potential to have value. It's just not. There's just little effort to break free from the conditioning that limits our ability to kind of see our true value and see our true potential. And because we can't see that within ourselves, we don't see it in other people. If I can't grow and change, well, how can you? You ain't better than me. I'm me, right? That's a narcissism on 100, right? You ain't better than me. I am, right? I think I'm honestly. I mean, the feeling, and the rational thought is this believing that I'm better. I know I'm not the best in mad shit. I know that. Like I said, I've learned my strengths. I've learned my faults. I've learned my weaknesses. I know there's a lot of shit I'm not good at. And a lot of it is just I haven't put the effort into it. Right, like going back to the harmonica. Hey, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna be trash for man long. Cause I've always just told myself like my brain doesn't operate on a practical level of just like memorizing. Like I just want to do and flow, and make everything a new experience. But I gotta, like I said, I gotta honor that deadline, and I gotta learn. and I'll get better. But within itself, within my need to just kind of be proud of myself and believe in myself and push forward, I have to believe that I'm the best. 'Cause it's rooted within myself, right? I thought about the concept of like I'm better than you, not because of who you are. I'm better than you because I'm me. I'm me. I've lived my life. I've made it through my life, right? And I think everyone should feel that way. Everyone should feel that they're better than as a collective. You're better than other individuals, but only in relation to yourself, not as a response to what they're doing. You should just feel. I mean, maybe I need to change the language on that. Just feel good about yourself, right? And believe it and know it and go through the process, go through the experiences that allow you to honor, again, honor yourself, honor your potential. Everyone's here to support in some capacity. No matter what you want to do, no matter what you like, no matter what you want from this life experience, man, there are people here to support you. But that's the challenge in the work, right? The initial layer, like I said, is self, finding the potential within myself, or finding what my passions and curiosities are to start to do the work. The next step, the social aspect, right? Finding the people to build with, people to brainstorm ideas with, people to build with. And the next tier is the systemic aspect, right? What can the collective work we do, or how can the collective work that we do change the overall experience or redefine the social narrative for our groups, right? Every support for everyone. You just gotta look for it. You gotta do the work, right? But if you stay rooted, you stay stuck on the pessimism, you stay stuck on the collective faults and the inability to see potential, the inability to understand that you, as an individual, offer unique perspective, offer unique talents, offer uniqueness. I guess in all layers, right? To understand that you can evolve ideas, evolve ideologies, evolve genres, evolve crafts, evolve brands. You know, evolve yourself, right? Without believing or without making an effort to see the potential for the evolution of yourself. You can't see the evolution for humans, right? You can't see the evolution for society. You can't see the evolution for the system, right? Again, whether it's political, whether it's economical, whether it's just the system of the universe, you can't see the potential. If you're blocked in as an individual, you'll never have the ability. You never have the ability to see the big picture potential of everything that's outside of you, right? That negative narcissism and ego. If I'm whack, everyone whack. Fuck it. That's the hating aspect of it. What do you want to do? What can you offer? Who can you communicate with? Who can you vibrate energy off of? Why aren't you? What's holding you back? Between Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, LinkedIn, uh, TikTok, Clubhouse, 7 different ways to communicate with hundreds of millions of people. What's the excuse? How can the collective be so terrible when the collective provides the options, right? Stop trying to be a part of everything. Stop thinking you know it all. You got the answers. You've unlocked. Like it. I mean, again, all nihilism. Saying the universe has no value is the equivalent of a Christian saying God created a universe. Like those are just like it's the same aspect of arrogance and thinking you know what's best, thinking you know what the value is. Even assigning no value, still value, right? Make the choice, right? Make the choice, or like I say, get out the way of people who are making the choices that support you directly, indirectly, support the groups that you're a part of, and support the systems. Yeah, that's it. Until next time, peace.